Do you wish to get a baconium haul like this? I'll share my tips to get this result whether you decide to crush it or take it to the overworld for selling it to John. You'll definitely make bank. Let's get straight into it. My first suggestion is I wouldn't go down to the hot, ideally until mid-spring in your first year or just after your first island day and having at least 1 million dinks in the bank. This itself might disappoint you. Let me explain why. As you know, when it's late in-game, your stamina is nerfed considerably, making it hard to fight or flight. By having 1 million in the bank, and a rainy day on a morning will trigger Jimmy, the dodgy salesman. He sells you coffee seeds, which is grown in spring and takes 16 days to grow. Once you have them, roast them in a barbecue or campfire and then brew the roasted beans in a billy can or kettle. If you didn't know, drinking this magic juice will extend your stamina bar very considerably, which allows you to do things that you normally can't without getting frustrated at late. Now, keep in mind this isn't necessary, but certainly does come in handy when I do my last run of collection and gives me peace of mind to fly back and forth to my gathering points. Before we jump the gun into that topic, let me quickly give you my list of things to bring. The first vital thing is a glider. Without this, you're not going to get very far in this vast and barren lava area. Having a glider means you've earned your stripes with some baddies, but also gives you the 4 emerald shards that you need, plus a mine pass to get down to the hot. By this stage, you should have yourself a jackhammer. If not, you can still release the Berk cluster with a pickaxe. As mentioned earlier, I'd definitely recommend taking some coffee. Also, the benefit of waiting for your 4th season in-game also gives you Island Day, where you get a snag from Fletch. She'll give you a snag which upon eating will permanently increase your food capacity from the default 3 to 4, and then from 4 to 5 on your second snag. You should hopefully have some decent collection of crops from your farming, or at least mushrooms for mushroom soup. These can be collected by hand, or if you're spoilt like me and work for it, you can get yourself a harvac, which makes easy work. These mushrooms only appear in autumn and will wither and die after 12 PM, which is midday, so make sure you get them. This is a superfood as it gives you defense and attack buff, which protects you from attack and gives you some more kick to your hits. It also increases your health bar size. I often take a stash of bottle brew, which again gives me health back, not if, but when you get hit or on fire. Then you'll also need ideally 2 weapons. I carry a balloon sword, which is 1 point stronger than damage than the battle shovel, and an alpha hammer for that ripple effect attack/defense. So just to recap quickly, glider, weapon, alpha hammer, jackhammer, food with attack and defense buff, bottle brew, and coffee for late. Plus, of course, some first aid kits or 3. When you first arrive in the mine, I do a quick pan around to see if I can find any visible Berkonium Island proof. Either that or look towards an island that's got water bottles. I also mark my mine shaft to always have a bearing on which way to head away from and to on the way back. The water barrels are locked in cages which can be released with either a jackhammer or the alpha hammer. The water bottles allow you to make a path from nothing. I line up a sight line to my mine shaft. This is a great time to practice your throws. You can do a jump shot, which is throw the bottle at the peak of your jump, propelling it far. The other side is a drop from the standstill. This drops it right in front of where you're standing. Or you can do a walk throw, which throws it a little bit farther than the drop, but closer than the jump shot. By the way, it's completely fine to have a gap of lava between spots that you jump from, and try to keep it 2 to 3 tiles wide between spots, which you should be able to jump, but obviously the smaller the gap, the less stress it has on you. No doubt you'll be interrupted by these flaming jellies, which spawn from these little volcano turrets in the lava. By throwing water bottles near it, it'll break those spawn points and give you some relief. I try to find a balance of getting rid of these but also making a path back to base. Water is, after all, a scarce commodity down here in the hot. I would also recommend changing your options or settings to lock the camera on north to help you with your bearings. One glance at the minimap shows you the direction your arrow is pointing and in turn tells you whether you're going north, south, east, or lost. Eventually you'll find a place that has a few visible islands with baconium clusters. I usually bring those back to an island that is at least 2 to 3 tiles higher than the lava. This is a safe place from jellies which can catch the clusters on fire and in turn breaking your haul. I personally like to ensure I've got a walkable run home with my gems over my head and just like an ant move my eggs from the nest to safety when it rains. I do trips back and forth, slowly closing the gap and ferrying the collection back and forth to my home pod. If you do make the mistake of accidentally dropping your glider, try not to panic and take note of where it drops. If you can't get it safely from the edge of the rock, you can throw some water to bring it to the surface. When you do catch on fire, look for a barrel of water to break and, like a soda can commercial, cool you off. This also deals damage to the yoblins too. Be sure to make the most of your markings on map to track your cluster collection points and consolidate them. Do you recall me suggesting you practice your throws with the water earlier in the video? Well, those are low stakes practice you can take because that skill will come in handy tossing around your berk clusters. I will often throw them up and glide to follow if you can't find water to connect paths. And I'll usually allow a downward drop returning back to base as often I'm gliding out to the berk and walk my way in with it. For safety reasons, you best keep your collection in the mineshaft itself in case the baddies attack your haul. This leaves you poised to just take it up at the end of the day or do a quick crush session. Crushed it. Don't forget to keep watch of the time to ensure you don't get caught after 11. Having said that, if you do, keep your first aid kits handy on your tool belt to quickly top up your health, or take a reprieve in the mineshaft and recharge by sitting down to quickly charge up your health quicker than if you were standing up. Speaking of working after late, the more you work in the mines when you're copping a hit every second and getting that annoying camera shakes makes you a better baconium hunter. Believe me, if you can deal with working with that camera shake and you do it without it, you will become so much better. Trust me. Yes, I'm not going to lie, it is stressful, but it is a great way to work towards your stress level management. Remember, smashing baconium clusters often gives you nothing in return, but sometimes gives you 1 ore. The crusher, however, will give you guaranteed 3 baconium ore. Set yourself a goal of what you'd like to walk out with. I think getting 8 clusters is a very reasonable outcome. Giving you 24 ores is almost 5 bars. This will often be enough for some craftables, or almost halfway to others. The best I've done solo so far is 19. Now let me know, what is your best? Do let me know in the comments. For more Dinkum tips and tricks, here's a playlist for you to enjoy, and AG Nation, you guys are hot.